What's going on, guys? So today we are going over tricep extensions. There's a ton of different attachments that you can use when doing this exercise, but today we're gonna go over the ropes. We're gonna dive into the warm-up sets, our working sets, and some things to look out for, some things that we don't wanna do. So when I'm getting warmed up for this exercise, just like I should be warming up for every other exercise, I'm usually a little bit more lenient with the form itself. Right, the whole idea of the warm-up is to push blood into the area that I'm trying to work before the working set, right? Before I do the damage, right? Because I want that muscle firing and ready to go before I just hammer the weight home, okay? So when I'm warming up my tricep extensions, I'll play around with the angles a little bit, right? I'll keep them close, right? I'll keep the ropes close together and I'll push in front, right? I'm a little more loose with the form. I let my elbows move around just a little bit more. Okay, again, this is only about 50% of what I can do, so it should be pretty light, right? Getting the chest up a little bit more. I'm separating. I'm playing around with how long I'm holding, right? I'm changing the tempo a little bit, right? Just cranking out reps. The whole idea, again, is to just push blood into the muscle. I'm prepping it for the damage that we're about to do, right? I'll kind of rest, shake it out. If I'm doing a superset, I'll go warm up maybe my biceps or whatever else that I'm doing. But I'll give it a few seconds, kind of rest up a little bit, and then for my warm-up set again, just doing the same thing, right? I'll get maybe a little hold. I'll squeeze out in front, right? Just putting the muscle through a range of motion with slight resistance, right, to get that blood pushing into the muscle itself, okay? As you can see, the elbows are moving around a little bit. I'm a little more lenient with the direction and how I'm approaching the exercise, okay? Now, when I get into my working sets and I stack up the weight a little bit, that's when I'm gonna be real tight with my position, okay? That's when I'm gonna lock it in. I'm gonna squeeze the elbows tight to the body. I'm squeezing everything I possibly can on my body to put as much energy into the rope as possible, right? So, I got my grip. I'm gonna pull those elbows in tight. I'm gonna get my hips back, squeezing everything as tight as I possibly can, and I'm blocking out those triceps, right? Getting real aggressive, and I'm squeezing on each one. Boom, coming here. Each time, right? I've seen some people put their thumbs on top of the rope for whatever reason. You still get a good squeeze in the tricep when you have your thumb on top like this and you flick the thumb down, right? I don't know if you can see that, right? You have your thumb on top. I still get a good squeeze, but I generally can't move as much weight, right? On these kind of exercises, weight isn't a huge factor, but when I do go a little bit heavier on these and I put my thumb on top, I notice my thumbs start to slip kind of off the sides. So I like to make sure that I just have a nice full grip and I'm just keeping everything nice and tight, okay? If it's a working set, I need to make sure that I'm approaching close to failure on the last rep of the exercise, right? I don't need to push to failure on every set, but I want to be pretty close, okay? And the second that I'll stop the exercise or I'll lighten the weight just in general is when I can't either get that full lockout, right, or my form starts to slip. If I get to the bottom of this exercise and I'm twisting and contorting and getting my body over it, right, then I know it's too heavy and I need to go a little bit lighter, okay? So you want to push it, you want to get aggressive, but you want to keep the form tight so that you're maximizing the amount of energy that you're getting out of the tricep and not using your chest and your shoulders and everything else to get the weight down. Now, some things that I see wrong for this exercise is, number one, is the elbows coming back, okay? So when people squeeze, it's kind of hard for me to do, right? It's hard to do it wrong, but people get these elbows way back here and they pull it super tight to their body, right? Coming straight back, right? You want to make sure elbows are in front just a little bit, got my chest up, I'm separating out in front, okay? Another thing that I see people do wrong is they let their elbows stretch all the way up here, okay? So this is my starting position. This is where I return to each time when I'm squeezing, right? I'm not gonna come here and then stretch and throw into the exercise, right? I'm not really getting a stretch that much. I'm not keeping a tight position, and I'm not using my triceps that much. That's more coming from my lats and me just throwing the weight down. The last thing that I see people doing wrong all the time, and this we kind of talked about a little bit, but keeping the chest up. A lot of people come over top of the rope, right? They rock their shoulders in. So when they go to squeeze, their upper body is coming over, right? And their chest is pushing down here, and they're not popping their chest out and squeezing their triceps like they should. right? They come here and then they push over the top, especially when it gets tough, right? Because people, for whatever reason, don't want to go a little bit lighter to do it right. They just want to, do whatever they can to max out at that weight when really they could be getting a lot more out of the exercise if they just went a little bit lighter.